Okay, today's bedtime story. We're going to read about, let's see here. Michelle Obama pays visit to U.S.O Center. Michelle Obama smiles during a visit. Was a great fan of mine. Let's see here. During a visit to the U.S.O Warrior Family Center at Fort Belvoir, Virginia in September. U.S.O photo, as you can see, that's Michelle, the president's wife, Obama, right there. See that? Coming from the On Patrol magazine. Now, for some odd reason, some serious postal workers who are trying to stay employed are trying to figure out where in God's name is the rest of my subscription. There's always some goofball trying to stop you folks from even writing a post letter. I suggest you tighten the security around those informational postal addresses might be in order, because there's always some goofball trying to reach through that mailbox and grab that personnel's mail without you looking. On camera, right? Hopefully that's the answer you're going to come up with. Because here's a guy who's trying very hard not to go paperless instead of email. You think you're going to have a job very long if I go paperless, including the 9 million other civilian personnel or retired military personnel? I think not. So, don't cheat the customer, okay? Keep that in mind. Sergeant Morehouse mail only. That's exactly what it means, especially at my home address. No other mail included. Thank you, unless it has my name on it. That's identity theft protection reason, that way folks who are writing me get those letters sent out and they get delivered, not returned by some uneducated, soon-to-be fired postal worker who thought they wouldn't get caught. This is probably what's happening to the subscription. It's being returned to the sender. Ain't that nice? Right here at Fort Campbell. Oh, what's that like, by the way, supporting you folks? Somebody up to criminal mischief. You better find out who. Nearly 3 months after carrying on, because I look out for military personnel. I help people stay, keep making sure their stuff is safe and secure. Having that email option to turn to. The reason why I have stuff going around paper is because I'm trying to keep you folks employed. There. Carrying on. All kinds of photos. Military helping people. Support morale. That's another organization to support. U.S.O. Go to USO.org. O-R-G, and donate. There's one right here in Nashville, downtown at the airport. You guys land. U.S.O. Starbucks, not far away from each other. U.S.O. Walk in there, play video games, take a load off, cool off. Finally, you're home. God bless. You thought you were all alone. Oh, you're not alone. Who told you that? They deserve to be thrown in the gosh darn ocean with a life vest. You're not alone, not on my watch. I may be asleep, but that doesn't mean I'm still looking out for you. All your folks, for those that love you, your cat, your dog, your 4-year-old, trust me for that. I've been there. Your 1-year-old. First Lady Michelle Obama paid her visit to the U.S.O Warrior Family Center at Fort Belvoir. I just wanted to shine a light on all the great work that the U.S.O is doing for families like these all over the country, Obama said during brief remarks at the center. Obama, along with the actor, longtime U.S.O supporter Gary Sinise, worked with children from military families to create a group art project that was later displayed at the National Interpret Center of Excellence. NICOE Satellite Center on base, which supports troops dealing with brain injuries and employs at therapies to help injured troops heal. U.S.O supports soldiers' journey to combat invisible wounds. When retired Army Sergeant Margaret Mange was injured in Iraq. She knew her life would never be the same, faced with the prospect that no prescription surgery or medical procedure would ever get her back to the woman she was before. Convoy was hit by an improvised explosive device. A nice thing. She was determined to find a balance in living and managing her pain. I will have chronic pains to manage. Live with post-traumatic stress disorder, traumatic brain injury, chronic neck and face pain, residential with Bell palsy. She was medically retired from the Army in 2007 since her injuries. Managed had participated in 3 Warrior Games and several U.S.O Story ride to. Recovered challenges earlier this year. She was selected as one of 4 wounded troops representing the U.S. in 2013, walking with the Wounded South Pole Allied Challenge, a 208-mile trek through Antarctica that began in November. The U.S.O is proud to support Manage through her South Pole journey from the pre-qualification trial in Iceland to team training in Colorado. Through her ski training in Norway, including her conditioning and daily 4-hour tire pull and psyching herself up the team's cold weather diet. The menu items that concern Manage: most sticks of butter, but the high-fat, high-calorie diet will serve to counter the extraordinary amount of calories these acids will burn during their experience. Carrying on. Even kids support the U.S.O. Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, great organizations to go. See here. Show all kinds of photos. See kids, watch. I'll go real fast. There's one. And the president, you see that? Miss Obama, God bless you, Mr. Obama. Here's another good photo. Aww, look at that. Share Coca-Cola, little one. God bless. Megan's story. Here's a kid's story for you. One of the things I love the most about my tours with the U.S.O. is that I get to share inspirational stories while I'm with military kids. They love hearing stories about adults when we were young and how we have carried their stories through our lives. One particular story I sometimes share with kids happened when I was growing up in South Africa. As a young lad, I got to know a great man named Hendrik, a jack of all trades, who worked on my grandfather's farm in Bretford Fort in the Orange Free State. Hendrik did something very interesting every morning before he began work. Methodically, he washed his hands and face in a gallonized tub outside his room. He put Vaseline on his face, and then he opened a green chest, carefully removing a supermarket plastic bag. Inside the bag was a nearly folded pair of pants and a long-sleeve button-up shirt. In the early morning light, we would wait patiently outside his room under the big mulberry tree while he changed from his overalls into smart clothes from the bag. Then he would come out smiling, nod in our direction, and walk to the tree next to his room without hesitation. He would climb halfway up the tree on some little planks he had hammered into the trunk. Sit in one of the tree forks, looked up into the sky, and closed his eyes and said his daily prayers. We are fascinated. When I'm up in the tree, I'm nearer to God. He would say, he can hear me better when I'm closer to him. I never forgot how peaceful he looked 10 minutes later when he came down the tree and changed back into his overalls and went off to work. We were amazed when he changed into his best clothes just to climb a tree and pray. He told me, it's simply a matter of respect. I shared Hendrik's story with my young friend Megan many years ago. She was an amazing 12-year-old cancer patient. Megan loved my stories of growing up in South Africa. She made me tell them over and over again during my frequent visits to the children's cancer ward. She desperately wanted to go to my grandpa's farm. One day I told Megan that I had just finished writing a book about kids in South Africa. I'm going to dedicate the book to you, I said. Oh, thanks, she said softly through her parched lips. That is so cool. Megan was a beautiful child with a beautiful smile. The effects of chemotherapy, chemotherapy and grueling radiation sessions did not dampen her wonderful demeanor. As soon as the book comes out, I read it to you, I offered. Megan, ever the jokester, said nothing for a few seconds. You'll have to read loud. If I'm in heaven, she said, smiling. I will, I said. If you pass away before this book comes out, I'll climb on the roof of my house and read so damn loud you'll hear me all the way up there. Ah, she said. You promise? I promise, I said. Megan fought an incredible battle, but she was no match for the cancer. She died a few days after our conversation. Megan's mom, Becky, spoke to me after the funeral. You're going to keep your promise to Megan, aren't you? Of course I am, I said. Becky, I called her later that day. Asked if called me a little later that day. Asked if the family could come over to my house when I climbed on the roof to read the book. She thought it would be a good memorial to Megan. Absolutely, I told her. She called me the next day and asked if Megan's class could come to the reading. I would love that, I told her. A few days later, the principal of the school called and asked if the entire school could come to the reading. That's when I said, I don't think it's possible. My garden is too small. That did not stop Becky's stento by the next morning. She had arranged for me to do the reading on the roof of the La Guana Gloria Art Museum in Austin, Texas, where I now live. It rained the entire week before, but that morning as I climbed to the roof, the sun came out bathing the entire garden in the warm gold light. Once on the roof, I learned on the little surrounding the deck. My heart stopped on the side below. Hundreds of people looked up at me, completely silent. The silence touched me, and I swear I felt Hendrik standing next to me. Opening the book, I clutched the microphone, looked up into the sky, and began to read to Megan as loudly as I could. The end. Trevor, Trevor Roman is a best-selling children's book author, award-winning TV personality, and motivational speaker. To learn more about Trevor Romain, visit www.trevorromain.com. Learn the U.S.O. shirt. You see that, kids? Look at that. Bring it a little closer. Trevor Romain. Look at that. Now, you kids all remember one thing in life. One, you're never alone. And two, the U.S.O. is a great place to support, even through your parents. Those that love you. You can always go to USO.org. Also, visit your library for your local copy on patrol. See this? Great magazine to subscribe to. Or pick up one at your local bookstore. Visit your museums, the zoos, water parks. Stuff's really open up. Summer's almost around the corner. So hang in there. Summer school's almost out. Yeah, that drives your parents crazy. Those of you who have parents, and those of you who wish you had a parent like me, well, keep praying. My heart and prayers go out to you. I know you'll find one soon, one day worthy of you. Remember, being a parent to heart, you're not so alone in the world as you think. No prayer ever goes unanswered. Trust me, you will sleep. Say your prayers tonight, kids. You sleep. And may God watch over all of you. In the Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Amen. God be with you right here at Clarksville, Tennessee, and here in America. If you want to write, you can always look me up on Facebook. Russell Morehouse on Facebook. Or write postal. That's 912 Tiny Town Road, Clarksville, Tennessee 37042. No mistake. Alright? Take care. Watch your health. Much love. Don't drive your parents too crazy and your friends.